What's good, sports family? We have a breaking news in the NBA. Yes, the Dallas Mavericks are finally trading away Anthony Davis after all the speculation, and he's going to the Washington Wizards. So, the Dallas Mavericks are sending the Wizards Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum. That's it. The Wizards are sending to Dallas is Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malaki Branham, my apologies, Marvin Bagley III, and plus 2 future first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. Wow. So let's get into why the Mavericks made this trade. So they're resetting their roster and future. Dallas is now currently in a strong playoff contention, and trading away a big salary like Anthony Davis gives them cap flexibility and draft assets. Getting multiple picks and younger core helps them retool around their younger core and prepare for future growth rather than trying to compete immediately. Second one, Davis' value has dropped. Davis is injured and missed a lot of time this season, so his trade value isn't as high as it once was. Mavericks are likely to try to value while they still can, rather than just risk his value dropping even further. And third one, organizational changes and direction. Dallas fired former GM Nico Harrison after previous, trades like Luka and so on. So now the franchise might be reinforcing towards a more sustainable long-term build rather than just getting stars. So the Mavs are just pivoting towards retooling their future, collecting draft capital and player fitting long-term plans rather than just pushing a win-now mode. Now, why the Wizards made the trade? So, they are adding a superstar for rebuilding/retooling. The Wizards, who recently traded for Trae Young and are rebuilding, wanted to, well, not really, but I guess you want to say rebuilding now, not, but wanted to add a big name like Anthony Davis to pair with Young and accelerate their rebuild or retooling. They're banking on upside. Even though the Wizards are a struggling team this season, acquiring a player like Davis' caliber when healthy can make them more competitive sooner or give them a trade asset of, their own later on. And last but not least, flexibility. Washington now has a dramatic shift in their roster that could make them appealing in future moves, either keeping Davis long-term with Young or flipping him again for other assets down the line. So, let's go over each of these players of what they bring and their stats. So, first up, the Wizards, Anthony Davis, superstar two-way big man, former all-star. Before the trade, he had 20.3 points per game, 11.1 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists per game, 1.6 blocks per game, and 1.1 steals per game, and 30 minutes per game when healthy, shooting 50.6% from the floor. What he brings: elite scoring upside, rim protection, rebound dominance, and veteran leadership. When healthy, he's still one of the best big men in the league, can be watching a genuine two-way centerpiece alongside Trae Young. Now, Jaden Hardy, shooting guard, pretty much his role, Young scoring guard, limited box scoring impact, games like 8 points in 13 minutes versus Washington shows modest scoring in reserve roles. What he brings: athletic scoring punch off the bench with upside as a shooter and slasher. D'Angelo Russell, point guard/shooting guard, veteran playmaker, scorer, recent performance in limited action for versus the Wizards. He has 6 points in 17 minutes. What he brings: ball handling and scoring creation, can elevate playmaking burden, and consistency and fit been questioned. Now, last but not least, Dante Exum, point guard/shooting guard, averaged 7.8 points per game, 2.9 assists per game, and 2.7 rebounds per game last season in Dallas before injury. What he brings: veteran depth and ball distribution, a potential 3-and-D role if healthy. Now, let's go for the Dallas Mavericks. That's a lot of players, man. Khris Middleton, small forward, veteran wing scorer and secondary playmaker, averaging around 9 to 12 points per game, 3 to 4 rebounds per game, and 2 to 3 assists per game in limited minutes due to injury. Shooting ability, spacing, and experience, can be reliable scorer on spot-up shots and stabilizing veteran presence next to Dallas's core. AJ Johnson, guard, young guard, 2024 draft pick, the number 23rd pick. He had about 7.6 points per game, 2.6 assists per game, 2 rebounds per game, and 22 minutes per game. I'm like out of breath right now. Developing all-around guard with upside as distributor and rotational scorer. And then Malaki Branham, shooting guard, young wing scorer, career 8 to 10 points per game with moderate shooting split. Shows scoring potential during his Spurs tenure. What he brings, offensive scoring ability, capable of spacing the floor and giving Dallas wing depth. And last but not least, Marvin Bagley III, power forward, athletic front court scorer, rebounder. In the Wizards, he had 13.3 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game in earlier season. Limited production last season. What he brings, rebounding and interior scoring punch off the bench. High energy role player with NBA experience. So the Wizards pretty much get a true star, upgrading Davis, adding elite defensive rebounding and scoring inside, and they get depth like Hardy, Russell, Exum, players who can contribute scoring or playmaking in rotation. And then the Mavericks, they get veteran shooter in Middleton, help stabilize veteran roster piece. Young upside with Johnson and Branham, potential rotational players, and front court gets Bagley as physical and rebounding, plus draft picks that give Dallas flexibility for the future. So, yeah, guys, pretty much this is very interesting that this is like a package, you want to say. You can say it's just a basic trade, but it's a package of about like 5 or 6 players in each, not even. And, so, yeah, pretty much the Mavs are just trying to rebuild, take their time, not rush, and and also just focus on Cooper Flag as their main core of their franchise player now. No AD anymore. Kyrie's still on the team, but it looks like it's Cooper Flag's team now. So it looks like they're trying to rebuild around him. And for the Wizards, they're just trying to compete now. Much more competing now. They have a lot of young players. They have Trae Young. They just traded before. They now have AD. So they're trying to see if AD does stay healthy. They might have him long term. But if he somewhat stays injured or they don't feel confident, they'll definitely flip him in the offseason or maybe next year during the trade deadline once again. But yeah, pretty interesting that the trade really went through. A lot of people were thinking that AD was going to stay in Dallas because not a lot of teams were really on him because of his injury history. And the Wizards are like, hey, let's just do it. Which I'm like a little bit confused. Like, why would you go for a guy who's always injured? I mean, props for the Mavs to get, the 3 second-round picks and 2 first-round picks for an injury-prone AD. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Because I know a lot of teams were not going to give up that many picks for AD. I just don't know why the Wizards went for that. Because you get a player who always injured, runs into himself, hurts himself, or someone hurts him, and he's out for like months. Like, I get it, you want to compete, but you could have gone after someone else. Like a Julius Randle or something at power forward, or someone, But you go for a guy who's always injured, and you gave up, 3 second round and 2 first round for him. I get it, you get players back as well on top of it as well if they get some players, but you pretty much give 5 picks and for an injury-prone AD who you don't know if he's going to stay healthy the whole season. It looks like he's coming back for sure. It'll take him a little while though, but it doesn't really add up. I know they're trying to pair him up with Trae Young, which is pretty nice, but that's if AD stays healthy. It just doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense to do this. I get it, they're trying to compete in the East, but how are you going to do that with a guy who's always out? Yeah, but I do like the fact that, they also get Jaden Harvey, they get D'Angelo Russell, which is like, Hardy might be like just, the third, fourth person on the depth chart, maybe play when it's like time to just chill out, like time to just expire and whatever. As for Russell, looks like he's going to be off the bench for sure. I don't think he's going to start, more like off the bench, and Exum is more likely when time's like, expiring, they're like, hey, let's just throw him in. I don't think Exum's going to play a whole lot, especially the fact that he's injured. As for Dallas, you're just trying to, rebuild. Khris Middleton might start. I think right now he would start, but I think when everyone's healthy, he would definitely not. He would be the bench player. AJ Johnson would be definitely bench. Branham will be Branham, I think Marvin Bagley would be more like the second and third on the depth chart in their position. Yeah. I think who won the trade, who lost the trade. I think the Mavs won this one because, like I said, you get an injury-prone in AD who barely stayed healthy the whole season, and you don't know what's going to be happening next. The Mavs really got a really good package from 3 second rounds and 2 first rounds, which is what people never thought that would have happened. I would have definitely pulled it if I was the Mavs. Hey, why not? Let's just get a bunch of players. Let's get some young guys, some veteran, start to rebuild even better and get some future capital. The Wizards, I would have never done that. No, I would have definitely got someone different, not AD. maybe the price for too damn, but I apologize, I shouldn't be swearing, was too steep. So I think they're like, we're not trying to get rid of young players, but trying to rebuild. Let's just do this. Who knows? But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments who won this trade, who lost it, who you think should have, gotten AD, who you think the Wizards should have gotten instead of AD, or you think it's a good, move. And I'll see you guys next video.